I wish more public would come out, but I think the weather's got us hindered today being so cold. So the format's going to go. We've got everybody marked down who's going to speak. They drew their names. Everybody's okay with it, I assume. And then we got your questions drawn. We're not going to have any questions from the crowd. We're not having any questions from the crowd. That's what the index cards are for. If you have a question afterwards, you can ask the candidate afterward and it's over with. So, what we're going to do first, we're going to sell a couple of things, then get everything started. So if I can get some help up here, guys. Okay, number one is a heart sugar cookies in a little vase made by Kim Hogan, who's one of our city council members. Who wants? Rutherford, I'm sorry. I know her as Hogan, I'm sorry. Who wants to start it out anywhere? 25. Now 30? 30, now 35. 30, now 35, 40. Anybody, $40. 35 now, got 35 looking for 40. Anybody, $40. All right, sold at 35, Melvin Linton, Precinct 4, County Commissioner. Number two is another Valentine's Day cookies made by Kim Rutherford. Got it right that time. Where do you want to start it out at? Anybody? 25? 25, 25 now 30. $30. Anybody 30? Now 30. 35. 30, 35 now 40. $40. 40 now 45. 45 now 50. $50. 45 now 50. 45 now 50. Sold at 45. Blake Thornton, Precinct 4 Commissioner. Okay, first up to speak is going to be Ms. Paulette Carson, running for U.S. Congress.
All right. Is the camera am I in a good spot for the camera? Okay, do I need to go up the stairs? Sorry. I've got 3 minutes, so I'm going to talk fast. Here we go. I am Paulette Carson. I'm running to be your Congresswoman, the first Congresswoman for CD 17. I will say that Louis Gohmert was a favorite of ours, yes, and I've been told I'm cut from the same cloth as Louis Gohmert with character, morality, and passion. So that's my first tagline. Anyway, I just want to tell you a little bit of personal things about me. Charlie, my husband, and I, we live in the north side of Trinity County and in the Nogales Prairie area, Davy Crockett National Forest. We have 3 sons. Our eldest is Kyle. He and his family live up in Rains County, small business owners. Our second son is David, and he and his family live in the Washington, D.C. area. Just forgive him, yes. And he actually is a lieutenant colonel, was in the Air Force for many years, and he was selected by the Pentagon. They bid on him. And so he works with Space Force now. He's in the U.S. Space Force. And so we're really proud of him. He's a godly man that's standing up to the woke culture. So y'all be praying for him. Our third son is Caleb. He's a special needs guy. He just turned 23 this week. And we're just delighted with him. He lives at home with us. That's the best place for him to be. And so more on the personal side, I went to SFA, Axum Jacks, yes, woohoo. And then I went on to a business career in Houston area with Brown and Root, and I was in global contracts management. So I did a lot of international work, a lot of domestic work, a lot of disciplines, whether it be marine or civil, petrochem, whatever, government. Had a lot of experience with that. So then we decided, my husband and I, we wanted to get out of Dodge. We came back to East Texas. We've been in our ranch. We bought it in 1999. Been a long time, almost 23 years. We couldn't come up right away until we could sell our house, but here we are. And so we love East Texas. We love our community, the rural county. I want to tell you, I have a visual aid here. In fact, if I can get one of y'all to go ahead and pass these out for me real quick. This is a visual aid of the 4 candidates in this race. And you're going to see pretty quickly that I'm the only one even close to being in the East Texas area to represent us. I understand our challenges. I want to tell you one thing about how I fight for you. Not only did I have a career in the business arena, I've started 2 nonprofits here in East Texas. One, Voices for Special Needs East Texas, for families to advocate for them. Number 2, Beautiful Gate Translations, a ministry in Eastern Europe for women there. I've been going for 20 years over there, and I have a first-hand understanding and knowledge of the communist regime that was there. We do not want that here. I will fight tooth and nail to keep the socialist agenda out of our nation, out of Texas. Absolutely. How else did I fight for you right here? I represented you with Senate District 3 in 2020 in the Legislative Priorities Committee, which in essence, we established the priorities for the Republican Party of Texas. I walked in the door and they asked us, what are your top priorities? My top 2, pro-life, constitutional carry. And so we got those in there. And then when it came time to go to legislative session, I called Senator Nichols, our state senator, and I said, I want you to be standing and voting for constitutional carry. He says, well, I said, no, you go back and you read the wording in the new bill. All right, fine. I said, you call me back and you let me know. And so he read it, he called me and says, you're right, I will vote for that. So we got that passed through. I'm very passionate. And when I get to DC, let me tell you, we have got to deal with national security, election integrity. It will be my job. Am I past 3 minutes? Sorry, can I finish up? Oh, you're so sweet. Anyway, it's my job from the federal level to keep the federal government out of our elections. States get to run their elections. Number 2, we have got to stop the federal dollars that are going to the abortion industry. And it's an utter genocide in our nation. We have to stop that. So I'm going to be fighting for you, and I'm going to be fighting for Texas and America. Thank you.
Okay, one question was submitted. The Corps of Engineers has closed most of the boat ramps and parks around Sam Rayburn. What can be done to reopen those ramps to help bring more revenue to the area?
Wow, that's a great question, and I have to confess, I don't have an answer to that one. I'm going to tap into the local experts here because that's the whole key for me as representing you, is to glean from you are experts. And so I will find that answer out. But from a federal level, we want to get involved, I'm sure, to help out, but I don't know the answer to that question, and I will not try to tell you I don't know, or that I do know the answer.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Angelina County District Judge. First up speaking will be Mr. Todd Kessel.
As long as you're in the center. There you go.
Can y'all hear me? Everybody in the back? My name is Todd Cassaw, and I want to be your 159th District Judge. I have been married to my wife, Kim, who's sitting right here, for 33 years. We have 2 kids, Katie and Tanner. They're both grown, and they live and work in Angelina County. Katie is a special ed counselor at Lufkin High School. Tanner is a process engineer at the West Fraser Mill up here on 69. He's married to Madison Barry Cassaw, who is a school teacher at Trout Elementary. We are all members of Harmony Hill Baptist Church. And I just found out a few days ago, where's Miss Carson? Oh, there she is. We go to the same church. And it's a big church. She sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and we don't know each other. But we do now, so we'll be looking for her tomorrow. I graduated from Texas A&M University in 1987. Did I hear it? Did I hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was in the Corps of Cadets while I was a student. Once I graduated from A&M, I went to South Texas College of Law. I graduated from South Texas College of Law in the top 25% of my class. Once I left there, I got a job at Zaleski Law Firm up here in Lufkin and went to work there in 1990. My wife and I moved here, and I've been working there ever since. The name on the wall has changed, but I've been in that same building for 31 years. I've done some criminal work, I've done some family law cases, I've done probate work, but my primary focus has been civil litigation, representing families and businesses and individuals in Angelina County and throughout the state of Texas. In 1995, I became board certified by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I became board certified in a category of civil trial law that's called personal injury trial law. I've also become a certified mediator several years ago, and I am appointed to cases to help parties resolve tough disputes. So as the mediator, I'm helping parties resolve those disputes before they actually go to trial. I'd like to point out too that the rules of evidence in civil and criminal cases is essentially the same. And I'm well versed in all the rules of court, including those rules of evidence. In fact, Clyde Harrington, who was district attorney for more than 30 years and knows a thing or two about criminal cases, is one of the top contributors to my campaign. You may have seen that in the Lufkin Daily article that came out a few weeks ago. Am I over 3 already? Okay. Chris tells me I'm out of time. I want to treat every case as if it's the most important case, and that's what I will do, and I will follow the law, and I'd be grateful for your support and your vote. Thank you.
Okay, up next is Al Sharansa. Once he finishes his 3 minutes of speaking, we'll call you back up, Todd. I'll share the mic and we'll ask the questions.
I want to thank you, Chris and the Zavalla Fire Department, for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself here to everyone here in this part of the county. I'm Al Sharansa. I'm a conservative Republican, and I want to be your next district judge here in the 159th District Court. I went to the University of Texas. I graduated there in 1987. 2 years later, I went to South Texas College of Law, where I graduated in 1992. I then went and served in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years on active duty as a judge advocate. And upon completion of that military service, I came here to Angelina County in 1996, where I joined the law firm of Finley and Bate. I was in civil litigation doing civil trials. At that time, then, I got an opportunity to be an assistant district attorney here in Angelina County from 1998 to 2003. In 2003, then, I started Sharansa Law Office, where I have been representing people in state and federal court in both criminal and civil cases. I've been preparing to be a district judge now for 29 years since I've been licensed to practice law, not only as a civil attorney, but as a prosecutor, as a defense attorney, and a military attorney. And I want to be the next district judge here in Angelina County in the 159th District Court because I believe I am the most qualified person for this position. I am board certified in criminal law since 2005. I'm also board certified in criminal appellate law since 2011. But one thing you need to know about this court, it deals with the problems of the people. It's a people's court and what we're having to deal with in their disputes. I'm in the courthouse almost daily, and many people know I have a very good work ethic, which I'll bring to the court. About 70% of the cases in the Angelina County District Courts are felony criminal cases which involve prison time possible. And that's why we need to have a judge who is knowledgeable and experienced in criminal law. It's an extremely important point. I actually been preparing to run for district judge here for some time. Last summer, I decided to stop taking any new cases. And by the time the next judge takes office on January 1st of 2023, it'll be about 18 months. And I did this because it will not only reduce the caseload, but avoid potential conflicts. Me coming into the court will not be an issue because at every other time when we had appointed or elected judges, those cases have been moved around and shifted as necessary to avoid any conflicts. What you need to know is I've dealt with some of the most serious criminal and mental health cases in Angelina County. And that's important because we have a backlog of cases due to the COVID-19 experience that we've all gone through. And I've got the experience and trial experience of over 100 jury trials to bring to the court and get these things moving. I want to plan to keep up with Judge White's drug court and his mental health docket. It makes differences in people's lives and is helping our community. I've been a volunteer attorney for 14 years in the reentry drug court. So I'm already in the system, I already know how it works, and I know what to do on the first day. But due to my experience, I'm going to be immediately prepared and ready to go on January 1st. And I'm asking for your vote, and I want to be the next district judge of Angelina County.
You just stay up here, panel. Okay, so once again, I'll ask the question. The first one will be for Todd, and then you can ask the FD. And the second one I'll ask. There's only 3 submitted for y'all. So the third one, go back to Todd, and you can answer, okay? So the first one, Todd, what is the policies on no-knock warrants?
The court's policies? Well, here's the thing. In a no-knock warrant, you still have to have probable cause. That's still got to be the case. And you need to, the judge still has to sign the warrant and approve the warrant. The police department is going to have to prove to the judge that there's probable cause for that warrant. And then they can go in with or without knocking. But there's a higher criteria for that.
One of the advantages when I was a prosecutor here in Angelina County, I also taught at the police academy in Angelina College. I taught the police officers, and what I teach, search and seizure. I'm very familiar with this area. First of all, no-knock search warrants can only be used in a limited basis. Like Mr. Casall said, you have to have probable cause, which means you have to have the officer dictate in writing under oath that there's enough information that whatever you're wanting to go in and look for or the person you want to go arrest is at that location. But the third step is that there's some type of danger to the officers that they can document to warrant them not knocking, because the standard is you knock before you go in someone's house. That's a right to privacy in our U.S. Constitution. However, on some circumstances, for officer safety, the judge will have to review the facts in that warrant and make the determination whether the judge will or will not allow them to do it with no knock. Again, it's all about officer safety. I'm in favor of officers being safe, but it's going to be based on what they can document in their warrant to me, and I'll have to make a case-by-case decision. Potential judges and even existing judges cannot rule on a specific case, without specific facts. We can't even comment on that. But in general, I agree, probable cause and that additional step of officer safety.
Okay, second question, Al, what are some of your ideas to reduce the backload in the courts?
A couple of my ideas on reducing the court system and what we have in the backlog. One, we're currently doing about 1 jury a month in each of the 2 district courts. Back when I was in the district attorney's office, we had as many as 2 jury panels coming in every month, and I think that's what we're going to have to do. Hopefully the COVID numbers will be down. That's one of the limitations we're faced. But barring that, and we get enough people from the community showing up, we're gonna start having to do 2 juries a month. Second, I wanna have some disposition dockets. That means I'm gonna pull in the defense attorney, the prosecutor, the defendant, and says, hey, this case has been around 1-2 years. No longer do we need to wait. I want you to make a decision. Do you want a plea bargain, or do you want a trial? You want a trial? Fine. I'm gonna put you on the list. If you don't need a jury, hey, just have a trial by judge. Let's get this thing moving. It is time to start making decisions and get you out and move your case. And that's not only civil as well as criminal. A lot of civil attorneys want to get their cases moved. There's people who have claims and disputes. Want to get those civil attorneys in there so they can get it. If they don't want to have a trial, maybe we'll get them into mediation. But one way or the other, people need to start making decisions, and the judge needs to be directing and setting that bar high. Here's my expectation. In my belief, once you file a case, you should try to have a resolution within 1 year, unless there's some other weird circumstances. And there are some, but really 1 year is reasonable. Get it and get it done.
Representing people in court, what are some of your ideas to reduce the backlog in the courts?
Okay, the backlog that we have right now, there was a backlog before COVID hit, and once COVID came, it got a lot worse. We really need for this COVID stuff to just go away. But we're limited by what the Texas Supreme Court says that we can do as judges. But what I'm planning on doing once I become judge is getting these people back to trial, having these trials consistently and regularly. Once these defendants that are awaiting trial know that if you're in line and if you're next in line, that one goes away, you're going, then those cases are going to resolve. They're either going to plead or they're going to settle, whether it's a civil or criminal case. And that will help alleviate that backlog. Years ago, we had what was called a rocket docket. And Judge Gerald Goodwin assisted with that. And he had retired, but he came back and he conducted this rocket docket that moved these cases at a faster pace. Now, we have to have help from the Commissioner's Court to do that. But I think there are some funds available through this COVID, this American Rescue Act, that could be used to get additional prosecutors and also possibly raise their salary to make it competitive with other counties so that we don't keep losing prosecutors. Now, if we have enough prosecutors and we have a rocket docket, we can put a big dent in that backlog.
Next question goes back to you, Todd. After representing people in court, how can you potentially judge the same people that come to your court?
Well, the rules of ethics, it's called a conflict. And if you have a conflict, then you may or may not be able to rule on that case or hear that case. If you've represented hundreds of criminal defendants over the years, you may not be eligible to be the judge for that defendant if it's a repeat offender, which is what we have a lot of times. We've got a lot of cases, but a lot of those cases are the same people coming back, and that's what needs to be resolved. In terms of civil law, if there is a case, technically, if there is a case that's pending in my office at the time that I become a judge, I can't hear that case. Doesn't matter if I had it or if another attorney at my firm had it. That would be considered a conflict. So I wouldn't be able to hear those. But there's not near as many of a lot of my cases there's some in Angelina County, but some are in Waller County or Walker County or Trinity County. And so it doesn't have near the effect as it would in a criminal case. But essentially that's the answer to that question.
Since both of us have been representing people here in Angelina County, yes, there's going to be occasions where You've been representing them before, and so I've had prior clients, and my opponent is a whole law firm. He may be conflicted out because he has attorneys at that law firm, he has prior clients, he has friends, donors to his campaign. All those people would conflict out, maybe even people with the Angelina County Youth Fair. So he's gonna have conflicts, and I'll have some too. But what I'm finding is a lot of my clients are not reoffending. Why? Because when I work with them, I am working to try to find the root of the problem. Look out you into court, and I'm dealing with them with either it's drug addiction, anger management issues, budget issues, trying to get a job. And in my Christian walk, I've witnessed to them and says, look, God sometimes gets you down to look back up. What can we do to get you to stop reoffending? So there will be some. There's another group who won't see because they're in prison a long time. I mean, either prosecuted them or for whatever reason, their crime warranted a sentence that they're not coming back to Angelina County. So I think it's going to be a small population, and on those few occasions, Judge Insom will handle it. And if there seems to be a few more, I'll take more cases on the grand jury, the new cases coming in. So I'll say, hey, give me more. I'll even volunteer to do juvenile cases and help Judge Register who's in the county court at law, or maybe do more family law cases. Whatever it is, we're going to get the work done. And on those rare occasions that you have a conflict, you say, look, some other judge will handle it. We have up to 3 more judges in the Angelina County courts, depending on the type of case. So there's plenty of places to share it for either of us, whoever may be the next judge.
Tommy, James. Okay, the next thing we're gonna sell is a pecan pie made by Katrina Wolf. $30, 35. 30, looking for 35. Anybody got 35? 35, now 40. 40, 45, got 40, 50, 55, 55, 55, 60. 60, 65. $60. Anybody else? $60. All right, going once, going twice. 65, now 70. 70, now 80. 80. How much? 90. 150. 160. Anybody else want to go more than 150? We sold Todd Castle. Okay, next is a buttermilk pie made by Lucille Burnett. Anybody want to start it off? $20. 25. Got 20 looking for 25. Got 20 looking for 25. 25 now 30. 30 now 35. Got 30 looking for 35. Anybody else? 35 now 40. $40. Anybody else at $40? Sold to Kenneth Jeffries, $35. Okay, next is chocolate covered strawberries and pretzels made by Leslie Wade. 25, now 30. 30, now 35, now 40. 40, 45, anybody? 45, now 50. 50, 55. 55, 60, 60. Anybody else? 65, 65, now 70. 65, now 70. 70, now 75. 75, now 80. 80, 85. Got 80 looking for 85. Going once, going twice, sold, $80. What's your name? Sold to Kim Castle.
Good evening.
Just castrated
Thank
calves
you
yesterday
to
with
the Zavalla Volunteer Fire Department for hosting this event. My name's Keith Wright, and I'm running for county judge, and I'm asking for your vote. I am from Zavalla. I grew up here. I raised my family here. Many of you know me. I have walked every street and fished every pond. I just want you to know. I love the area, and I love the people. I married Rayla Edmonds in 1983 at the old First Baptist Church that was right over there on Johnson Street. We had 2 children, Shane and Kayla. We were married 32 years before she passed away from cancer. Rayla's parents, John and Jane Edmonds, are here tonight. My daughter Kayla and her husband Brian are here also, and my grandson Hall. He looks just like his pap. The Lord blessed me with a second wife, Amy, who has tirelessly supported me in this campaign. Thank you, Amy. She's over there. She moved around on me. Amy's parents, Charlie and Nancy, are here, and her brother Mark. And my bonus son, JB, he's been a blessing. He's been easy to raise most of the time. I've lived in Zavalla most of my life. I moved to Lufkin when I became city manager because it was required by a city charter. I am coming home. I will be back this summer permanently. Waiting on JB to get out of high school. Y'all are my people, and I need your support. It's important. I graduated from Zavalla High School. There's the proof right over there. Angelina College and the University of Houston. I have a total of 30 years working for local government. So I understand government. I understand budgets. I worked on $70 million budgets for 6 years with the city of Lufkin. I am a registered professional civil engineer. I have 37 years of experience doing engineering work in municipalities and counties and school districts throughout this area. I served on the Zavalla School Board for 12 years. Met right here in some of this building many times. And on the Piney Woods Groundwater Conservation District for 18 years. Emergency management is key to the county judge position. That's one of the duties of the county judge. I have been involved as the emergency management coordinator for the city of Lufkin. I have worked through several hurricanes. You might remember Rita, you might remember Ike. I was working during those events. I also did evacuee management, floods in the city of Lufkin, a tornado one Christmas, and the first wave of the current pandemic. Some of my goals include a master plan for the county. We need to know where we are and where we're going. I support local law enforcement, the court system, and the county emergency services, including the volunteer fire departments. Successfully monitor and develop a strategic plan for implementing the unit road system. It needs to be fair and equitable for every part of the county. I am team-oriented and have a proven ability to bring a diverse group of people together. I did it at the City of Lufkin. Strong leadership is transparency, open communication, compromise, sincere and honest discussion. Zavalla has helped shape who I am today. I hope to make you proud as the next county judge from Zavalla, Texas.
All right, next up will be our county judge, Don Lemberg.
I'm not from Zavalla. My place is in Moffett, Texas. It's another community just north in the Angelina County River. I have a wonderful family, and I'm very proud of them. But I want to talk about something this evening that has to do with Zavalla. 4 years ago, I made a promise to you people here in Zavalla that Zavalla was not going to be put on the back burner. You weren't going to be forgotten about. I kept that promise. What we've ended up doing in Zavalla with the EMS system, number one, when the city of Lufkin decided to stop EMS service out in the county, it was not a bad thing. It was a really good thing because it allowed me to 8 months get into some research and find out exactly how to get Zavalla back to where you've got a coach here all the time. And what we've been able to do with the EMS service is cut the cost to the county of $750,000 over the next 3 years. That's $250,000 a year that we were paying to the city. We cut the response times. Someone down here has a heart attack. We cut that response time down to 14 minutes from 45 minutes from running all the way from Lufkin. It's a big improvement. Another thing is I worked real hard to get full-time, around-the-clock coverage here in Zavalla area in law enforcement. We got another deputy put down here. It took a while to do it, but we finally got that done. Another thing is every time a committee has come up, this is a little thing, but I wanted to make sure that Zavalla was not forgotten, and it was always going to be on the edge of when people thought about things going on down here in this part of the world. I've got Carlos on speed dial. I talk to him pretty regular, and had him serving on several boards there in Lufkin on Angelina County projects. I wanted to make sure that he knew anytime something came up that Zavalla needed to know about, he knew about it to begin with. When ANRA, Angelina Nature's River Authority, approached us about new water lines and sewer system to help the city of Zavalla, I wanted to make sure that I was in that discussion to begin with, and have been from the start. We want to make sure that Zavalla is treated right in this thing when there's funds come down from the federal government to make sure that Zavalla gets their fair share of what's going on. Do what? My guide here, my wife. When the commissioner was arrested and got in trouble because of family violence, it took 10 months for me to get to the point where I could actually, when he was actually pleaded out, it took 10 months before I could actually bring somebody else in and appoint a new commissioner. But I had 2 rules. Number one, first rule is that I didn't want to have anybody in there that was going to run for re-election. I wanted to make sure that the county judge did not give an unfair advantage to someone that was already on the job. Number 2, I wanted a business person. I wanted a person that was going to bring the business concept into Angelina County decision making, and someone from Zavalla. I had 13 applicants. I finally found with Steve Smith someone that I could count on, a business person, had good business ethics, and someone from Zavalla to make sure that Zavalla was not forgotten. All right.
All right, what do you think the priority should be for the area, for the ARPA funds, and why?
I think the American Rescue Fund Act money should be utilized in the county first. We need to lower the tax burden on every county resident in the county. And if there's something that we could do that would avoid costs to the county, that's what we should do. And one of the major issues that we have is the Angelina County Jail. It is overcrowded. We are letting people go left and right because there's no space for them. So if you're a low-level offender, you may have a rap sheet as long as my arm, but they're going to let you go. And the problem is, and if you've seen other places in the state and in the country, when you're not held accountable for a crime, it tends to escalate. It tends to be something else next. So we got to hold them accountable. We have got to utilize that. I agree with Todd. We can use some of that money to hire additional prosecutors because it's a 3-pronged approach. If you have more capacity in the jail, but you're not getting them through the court system, it's not going to work. So we need to use some of that money, utilize it in order to help in the prosecution. We can use it to bring in a retired judge to help that backlog that went on with the COVID system. We can also utilize some of that money and support the water supply corporations and our volunteer fire departments. And that's the way I see the money is $16.8 million.
There's already plans in place for this $16 million, and I hate to say it, it's not gonna go very far. It is a lot of money, granted, but this particular allotment of money is only going to allow one module to be added onto the jail. All the pricing has been done. I already know exactly how it's gonna be handled as far as if we decide to go that route. The jail is, public safety is paramount right now. This money is not gonna be allowed to be used to hire an outside prosecutor. There's other funds for that. That's not a problem. But this ARPA money can be used for several things. We can actually use it for the individual water systems. We can actually use it for the ANRA request for coming down here with sewer and water requests for Zavalla. Those things are things that are allowed to be used in this money. But the best possible way to handle to where it's equal for everybody in Angelina County is actually affect the jail and long-term storage that the county has never had. That can be done, and that's exactly what I've already proposed, and that's the direction we're trying to go with it, hopefully.
Okay, Don, next question goes to you. Why do you think the Commissioners Court is not working together as a team, and what can you do to improve it, and will you take responsibility for the working relationships?
Absolutely. It's not a secret. The reason that the court has been in such dysfunction for the past 3 years is called unit road system. The commissioners did not want the unit road system. They did not think that it was ever going to pass. It did pass, and they've done everything that they can to stop it at that point. But understand this, we're looking at a whole new court system. With the people that are running now, we've got some great candidates. We've got candidates that are business people and retired business people. This court is going to be completely changed. You're going to be looking at a whole new court system that's going to be able to get a lot of things done. I've been able to keep the tax rate down. If you will check my records, you will see exactly what's been going on in the court. Everything that we've gotten done, I've been able to keep that tax rate at the lowest rate that we've had in 12 years now. But you've got to have a court that works together. And the new people coming in, there's 4 people that are running for election on the Commissioners Court this year. Those 4 people are going to be the new court, and they're all pretty much going to be new people except for me.
We have some good candidates for commissioner here tonight, by the way. Leadership is key. If you don't communicate and you can't get along, you're not going to get people to go where they need to go. You're going to have to work with people. You're going to have to communicate with them. You need to be transparent in what's happening. And even if we bring new people in, if we can't work with each other to move this county forward, we're not going to be successful. Everything we do builds on leadership. Whether we do a new jail or whether we do anything, if you don't have the leadership to bring it not only through the Commissioners Court to successful conclusion, but with the people of the county. And they need to see us working together. We need to stop the division. We need to stop fussing and fighting with each other, and we need to work together. That's the way I see it as far as Commissioners Court.
All right, Keith, the next one goes to you. Do you currently support the unit road system?
I do. I voted for the unit road system. But I also support doing it right. We need to work on developing how it's implemented. There needs to be a set of policies that engineer follows that is set by the court. The court is responsible. The court is the supervisor for that person, and they need to be held accountable. How are they spending the money? What roads are they working on? What materials are they buying? All of that needs to come back to the Commissioner's Court because they're the supervising authority. We don't need to advocate that authority as a court. We need to make sure. Now, the unit road system did one thing you may not be aware of. It eliminated precincts as far as the road and bridge fund. Road and bridge fund now is just countywide. So we got to make sure that those funds are spent efficiently, fair, and equitable throughout the county and not just in one area. So the one thing you need to do to understand where to spend, you got to do an analysis of all of these roads to know what kind of condition they are in, if they're based on a pavement condition index. And I'll tell you this, I actually talked to current road engineer. He worked for me. I brought him up on a program called Micropaver on how to analyze these roads in order to grade them, so that when you ask, why isn't my road being done? Or why are you doing this road? It's because of the condition of the road, and here's the analysis. And we can show it to you. That needs to be done. It needs to be done quick. There's a limited amount of money, and we need to know where that money needs to go.
The unit road system is working. We're 4 months roughly into the unit road system now. Plans are in place. Plans have already been in place. If you will go on the county website, go to the unit road system, there is a 2-week report every 2 weeks that will show you exactly what's being done on the unit road system, what has been accomplished. And we also have, since the start of the unit road 4 months ago, you will get to see exactly everything that's been accomplished. The unit road system is working beautifully, but everything is not going to happen in 4 months. We've had 24, 25, 26 years of poor road maintenance. It's not going to happen overnight. And I'm telling you, please be patient. It's going to work. Go on the website, go to transparency, look at the unit road reports. It's all there for you to see, and you will see exactly how much has been done, and we're just getting started. 4 months from now, after this first 4 months, it's going to look totally different.
Thank you, gentlemen. My helpers will come up here. We'll sell a few more things. All right, now for County Commissioner Precinct 4, our first speaker will be Kenneth Jeffries.
Hello. Thank you for coming tonight, especially in this weather. My name is Kenneth Jeffrey, and I'm running for County Commissioner Precinct 4. My wife Liz is here with me tonight, and I'd like to thank her sister Jennifer for driving up from Houston to support me. Liz has been a realtor in Angelina County for over 30 years, and we have lived in Precinct 4 for the past 23 years. We are members of First Christian Church. I've always been active in the community. I've served as a reserve sheriff's deputy, been on the board of Crime Stoppers, Christian Information Service Center, and Lufkin High School Alumni Association. I've also been a member of the Lufkin Coast Lions Club for 35 years. For the past 14 years, I've had my real estate license and have been able to assist Liz. This has allowed me to become familiar with the real estate market in Angelina County. This week, I was honored to be notified by TREPAC, the Texas Association of Realtors Political Action Committee, that of the 3 candidates who interviewed from Precinct 4, I was chosen to be supported by their organization. My knowledge of the appraisal district, property values, and tax rates in Angelina County was instrumental in my receiving this acknowledgement. After high school, I started my career at Jeffrey Dental Lab. Last year, after having owned a very successful business for 30 years, I decided to sell it at the end of this year. Coincidentally, about the same time, several friends came to me and said that I ought to run for County Commissioner Precinct 4. That was last February. In that same month, I filed my papers and decided to run. And as you know, a lot of things have changed since then. I started studying the responsibilities of a county commissioner and attended most every county commissioner's meeting last year, along with the special call meetings. And I met with department heads, toured the sheriff's department, airport, and other facilities. I met with the county auditor, treasurer, studied the county budget, preparing myself to be the next county commissioner of Precinct 4. In fact, last year when the 2022 budget was proposed, I found $1,065,000 that was added in the budget twice. This gave the county an extra $1,065,000 that they didn't realize they had to spend on the budget. Economic growth is one of my priorities to keep our property taxes rates as low as possible. Also, the county received the $16.8 million in the American Rescue Act. That was free money, right? No, our grandkids are going to be paying that back for years and years and years. My grandkids, 7 grandchildren. So, we have to spend that money wisely, where it would benefit the most taxpayers while keeping the property tax rate as low as possible. Supporting our courts and law enforcement also a priority of mine. We must provide the tools and manpower they need to keep us safe. So I'm ready to go to work full-time with our other commissioners and county judge to make Angelina County a better place to live, work, and play. And I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Next up is Melvin Linton.
Hello, I'm Melvin Linton Jr. I'm a lifelong member of Precinct 4, living over in the Beulah community. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and especially thank you for the volunteer fire department here for having us. We really appreciate it. I'm married to Sandy Linton at 25 wonderful years that we've been together. We have 2 sons, Trey Linton that works for me in my construction company, Hunter Linton who just finished Texas A&M Galveston with a Maritime Academy degree. And we have 2 wonderful granddaughters and a wonderful daughter-in-law that's a teacher at Diboll School. I own Melvin Linton Homes, LLC in Lufkin, Tennessee Development LLC that we do, we buy land, do different commercial work with, and then I'm also owner of 2016 MRB Investments that we buy larger pieces of property with. I am the only candidate that has experience of putting people to work, working and adding to the tax base. I've helped add over $60 million to Angelina County tax base over the last 25 years. We do it on a daily basis. I mean, I deal with multiple problems, multiple budgets all the time. I'm a lifelong member of the Church of Christ. My family and I are a proud member of Angelina Church of Christ there in Lufkin. We have been on numerous boards, different things, too many to mention. Being Wade only gives us 3 minutes over here. But we need to keep the property increase will be the last thing if we ever need to do to gain more money. What we need to do is keep on building new houses that we're building, keep on with the commercial buildings that we're doing, bring more business in, bring more revenue. I would love to see us utilize the lake more and utilize the south end of the county. I promise y'all, I will not forget y'all down on the south end of the county. I have had breakfast here this morning for anybody who wanted to come for a free breakfast at the Eagle's Nest of my dollar. I've met here several times with them. I have got the same grassroots as y'all. I don't have the big money. Different people throwing money my way. I could have got it. I have been almost totally self-contained. If you look, there is a lot of money being thrown at this race. People spending thousands and thousands of dollars that they've got to answer to somebody for those campaign funds. And it's only family or close friends that I have taken money from. One thing I want to do when I'm in here is have quarterly town hall meetings. One quarter we'll have one in Zavalla. Let's hear what y'all got to say about the county government, what we can do to improve it. One quarter do Diboll, one quarter do Lufkin, and just make the rounds and hear what we can do to better it. The unit road system, I voted for it. It is a good system. It needs some help. And I know people down here, I've heard this more than once, about people in Zavalla having to drive all the way to the airport to punch in and then drive back to work here. That is something we need to address, whereas lots of wasted hours in windshield time there. And I think the unit road system is doing good to a certain point. He just needs some more help and supervision over that. Some of the things he's doing is great. They're replacing metal culverts with plastic culverts, great. They're digging out failed road bases, putting in bigger rock and fixing those road bases. However, the amount of work they're getting, it's not where it needs to be. And last but not least, I want to cut the commissioner's salary. I am the only one here that says that we will cut the commissioner's salary. The reason I say that is the unit road system. The unit road was the largest amount of work that we had was working on the roads. The unit road system, we're still in charge of the engineer. We don't have any more work to do in the courthouse than what we did. We still have the same amount of salary and everything. I'm Melvin Linton. I would appreciate your vote. And remember, I am the one candidate that will cut their salary and put the $20,000+ back in the Angelina County government.
Next up, Mr. Blake Thornton.
Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, for Chris and all his crew for putting this on. I have a couple special thank yous. Jason Havard, my treasurer, lives just here out of Zavalla, and Melina Jones, who I worked with for 5 years at Huntington State Bank, has helped champion my cause in this area, and I certainly appreciate them and what they've done. My wife Candy's the director at the Child Care Center, Mary Jo Gordon Child Care Center at AC. I taught vocational agriculture for 10 years, and then I worked for Huntington State Bank for 5 years, and then I had the opportunity, while I was at Apple Springs as the ag instructor. I went back and got my master's degree, and I had the opportunity to go to work at the prison as the principal out there, education director. So I've been there the last 10 years. The last 4 years, they liked me enough. In 17, they gave me 2 jobs. So I managed the budgets, the staff supervision, instruction, all the curriculum, all those things, buying all the stuff that we needed. I have a lot of auditing experience. I'll say this: when I started the job at Dieball in 2012, they had just had their 3-year operation review. We had 22 audit findings. We had that same 3-year operation review for the 6th time I've been the principal out there. In August of last year, we had 0 audit findings. So we came a long way. I manage a good team. I've got a great team, and I appreciate them. I think that Angelina County is set on the verge of greatness. And I say that because I think we've got the road infrastructure now in place. We have our healthcare infrastructure in place. We have Angelina College to do academic vocational training, and SFA right down the road to cap it off with whatever else we need. Now we need visionary leadership. And I think that's where we need to move. I think we need to do that through fundamentals. We need to rebuild the relationships with the voters, with the other judge, with the county judge. We need to rebuild the relationship with the commissioners. They need to know when I come in there, I can be trusted and respected to what I bring in is going to be valid based on data, based on what I've heard from the voters, and it's going to be good for the county. I think I voted for the unit road system. We need to set some standards. I agree with Keith. We need to implement a reliable road grading system and have some standards there. We voted for change, and the only way we're going to know we have change is that we have some tool to measure with, whether it's efficiencies gained in labor or cost savings in equipment or fuel or whatever. Well, we've got to have a standard to measure that change. I also think, kind of come to the part y'all want to hear, we need to build some strategic partnership. I've had breakfast this morning with the Airstream Harbor group and discussed with them what they wanted to see. That's a hidden gem here in Zavalla. I really appreciated them for hosting me out there, giving me an opportunity to speak. They had some great ideas as far as growth. And we have some good ideas. I talked for about 2 hours yesterday to a couple of different fishing tournament producers. And the 2 things they said we needed at Castle Boykins was food and additional parking. And a second pavilion would be great. And I think we can plan for those things. This Mid-Lake area, I went out there today. There was another tournament going on today. I talked to the director. And he said, everybody wants to be here. So we need to work as a community. I need you to work with me. We need to take the bull by the horns and figure out what these guys need and make some plans to bring that business in here. It's out there for the taking. We need to bring it into the Mid-Lake area. And we need to do that through building good, strong relationships with those businesses. We need to ID some businesses to go get and bring those in, bring that money in, expand the tax base. Together, we can have a growth plan to develop and track new business. I think we need to make those strategic plans. and do that. So, in the end, I just like to say about experience. General George Washington was a great general, and when he went in as president, he had zero experience. Experience is good. Experience with visionary leadership is great. Thank you. I ask you for your vote.
All right, Melvin and Ken, y'all come up. Okay, so we'll start with Kenneth, since you went first. What is your plan since you won't be doing road work?
I was in the Sheriff's Reserve for 5 years, and I did ride-alongs. And I'm gonna do the same thing as a county commissioner, ride along with the road crews. I'm gonna be out there. That's still a big part of the job. The road administrator may not like it or not, but I'm gonna be following up on my precinct, which includes Zavalla, Diboll, South Lufkin, and make sure things are done. Along with that, I'm gonna read a quick list of the other duties. I've got a thick book there. Road and Bridge, personnel, offices, boards, commissions, operating facilities. We've got to take care of all that. Bonding authority, contracting authority. We're over the elections, regulatory responsibility, physical operations, public welfare. There's a lot to do. It's not just road and bridge. Administrative duties, judicial responsibilities, public works, and juveniles all fall underneath our responsibility.
Well, I will have a little bit to say about that. I will be riding along too, but I'll be riding in my own vehicle, checking it out, and then making sure that these people are working. Another thing we'll do is with the budgets. We'll be up there working with the budgets, and we'll help negotiate better deals. And it's all about negotiation, as President Trump said. You can negotiate the very best deal you can, and we're gonna save people of Angelina County money on our negotiation, whether it is with raw materials, whether it is equipment, whatever it is. And that is gonna be my deal, that we're gonna be negotiating those deals. However, you know, if somebody calls and they have a problem with the road, call me. I will personally go out there and take a look at it and see what we can do to help get it fixed. And I will have an open door policy to come in, and I'll be able to talk to you about anything within the county government that is legal that we can talk about at the time.
I don't know, there's a lot left to say. I see this as an opportunity that's gonna kind of free the shackles. We hired an expert with the unit road system, okay? They need to take care of their business. I agree, we need to follow up on it, if there's complaints and all that, but it freed us up to do planning. Again, if we don't wanna raise taxes, we all can't have a sweetheart deal. We can't pay the lowest taxes and get our roads fixed and do everything we wanna do. So we've got to grow that tax base. Again, our airport is a great economic growth area. There's companies coming in all the time looking to come to Angelina County. We need to have a team ready to go out there and meet with them, have some strategic plans in place so that we can invite those in, listen to what those people need. Again, we have the infrastructure and all those things in place to make that work. And so I think we need to be there, again, supervise the other areas where they need to be. There's some ascension plans and different things that need to be addressed. A lot of the employees, the leadership is getting ready to retire. And so we just make sure that those plans are in place so that we're not caught when that step down happens.
Okay. Have you read the Texas, this goes to Melvin, have you read the Texas Transportation Code 252 and know what your role will be with the road engineer? Looking for more than a yes or no answer.
Yes, I have read it, and it states in the role, and I can't remember it exactly, but I have read it all. As a matter of fact, I read on it today, son. But it is a supervised role over the unit road engineer, and he can only spend X number of dollars at a time without the approval. And there are several different things on there, buying equipment and all of that. But yes, I have read it, and do I understand it all? No. But I will keep reading it, and I will keep studying on it.
So I agree with Melvin. I've read through that. Again, it's a standalone entity, but it requires supervision. And if we can set standards, monitor those standards, and again, watch for those efficiencies and all those things.
I agree, I haven't read it all and don't understand it all, but I know we've got a $4.2 million budget for the road and bridge, and we do have to oversee that. We can't just turn anybody loose with that kind of money. It's got to be, with oversight.
All right, next one goes to Blake. Explain unit road system and its benefits to the people over the old system.
All right, so, again, with the unit road system, you have an expert running that. That's the idea of having an engineer, okay? They've been classically trained to do that job. They oversee that department, all the things that flow through there. Where it's better, we should have less equipment. And as Melvin said, we should stage that out strategically where we have less travel time, so we should have some fuel savings, some labor cost savings, and again, savings on equipment. I've talked to one of the commissioners from Nacogdoches for about 2 hours on how they manage theirs. And their guy, the sad part, their guy told them, I'm here to make you guys look good. Okay? So we need to have that kind of collaboration where he understands, hey, we've got to get these guys to work, and they have a job to do, and it's here, we need to collaborate to make sure that works well together, and we're working as a team to gain those efficiencies.
What's the question again? Okay, the unit road system, okay. Blake touched on a lot of it. Got one person over it, and the savings in equipment, we've already got a lot that they're gonna auction off. We've got some lease equipment they're gonna let go back, but in the past, you'd have one commissioner come up, pave a road up to the precinct line, stop, carry all his equipment back to his barn. Later, at some other point, the other commissioner from the other barn, the other precinct, would come back, pave his part of the road. And it was just such a waste of having to carry out 2 different sets of equipment to work on a road. Now, with the road administrator, he can finish the job, go out, do it right. He's got a lot of good plans. I've sat down with him. He showed me his reports and trying to identify all the roads. The roads are in 3 different grades, how they're determined, what shape they're in, and then you got to determine how much it's traveled, how many people live there. So there's a lot that goes into that. And the commissioners, the pay will be cut. They've taken their trucks away. That helps. They didn't need those. We can drive our personal vehicles. But as far as donations to me, it was touched on earlier. I've taken in a lot of money. I've got a lot of friends that want good government. They've donated. There's several here tonight that I've seen. They're not asking them any favors of me. They just want good government, and they understand my honesty, integrity, and just business experience.
Well, about the unit road system, one thing that it can do is the more you buy, the better deals you get. So we can, instead of having 2 or 3 motor graders in precinct 1, 2 or 3 motor graders in precinct 3, 2 or 3 motor graders in precinct 4, we can utilize and have all of those together. When it comes time to buy new ones, we can negotiate a better deal. The same thing with the pickup trucks. The same thing with the all of the raw materials that we use. And it was talked about in the Texas Transportation Act that we don't need to give him an open checkbook. We need to be over him and monitor him very close and make sure that he is utilizing the best of everyone's tax dollars here. Because it is very important to utilize, and those are your tax dollars, they're my tax dollars. And Zavalla is a poor end of the county. And I want to make sure that y'all do not get forgotten about by being on the south end of the county and maybe not have as high a traffic area and as big a houses to generate as much tax money. But I guarantee you, as your county commissioner, I will do everything in my power to make sure that people on the south end of the county, because as soon as I run, the first announced I was running, one gentleman said, tell me what you're going to do for the south end of the county. Everybody always promises and very few ever comes through. And sure as the good Lord is overseeing this tonight, I will do everything in my power to bring as much money and help oversee as much stuff over this unit road system as possible, and use my experience in building and developing to try to build more infrastructure down here and get more money coming in for the south end of Angelina County.
Okay, we got two more questions. We're going back to, Kenneth. How do you think the unit road system is working, and why do you think that? Still on the unit road.
Yes, sir. It's still in its infancy, and it's gonna take a while. I think the engineer's got great plans. It's just gonna take a while. Just like anything else. And I've talked to a couple of commissioners in Nacogdoches, and it was a long process to get it going. But I think I signed a petition for it, I voted for it, 76% of the county voted for it. So, I think it's gonna work great. It's just gonna take a little while. It's gonna take the commissioners working with him. Some of them have been working against him, you know that, you've read about it, but we've got to get behind him and support him. And he's not gonna be right all the time, but we've got to work as a team and make it work for the county.
I totally agree with that. As Judge Lemberg said earlier, we're young into this. We're only 4 months into this program, and he's doing some good things. Can he do better? Yes, every one of us can. I can do better every day in my job, and most everyone here can. But I think it's a great deal. I know the majority of the Zavalla folks did not vote for it, and they're not for it. But unfortunately, in the county, that's what was done, and that's what the people of Angelina County thought was done. But the worst thing we can do is ever forget y'all down here, and we've got to make it work and get more work done down here. Like mowing, for instance, he has been excellent at getting the ditches mowed, and he's actually mowing the back of the ditches, something that hadn't been done in years. I know I was down 147 and seen where a lot of work was mowed. So we're getting stuff done. May not be as fast as I think it needs to be, and that's one thing that I will be pushing on, because the only way I know how to go is push, push, push. Anybody in my construction company will tell you that. I have more energy than 90% of the people in this world, and I believe in work and work hard, and that's what we're going to try to utilize and make happen.
Obviously, when you implement any new program, this is not the NFL, so, you know, we don't have a one-year coaching tenure that you're in and out, right? It's gonna take about a 3-year arc, as with any new program that's valued, to get us a learning curve in. I think in the short term, we're doing some of the right things. I know driving around listening, what's become apparent to me is we need to identify where the real problems are. The real problems, I believe, around the Zavalla area with the roads is that we need to get in and dig the ditches out and work with the landowners to make sure that drainage is working properly. Bad roads are a result of poor drainage, and because when the water's running over the road, you know, it causes more issues. And I'm going to say, Commissioner Smith, that there is not, I have walked the streets around here and down, everything has been said good for him, that he has brought that attention to this end of the county. I don't thank him for that. But it's a plan, and we've got to set those standards and stay with our system. Grade the roads, and we know how the roads are going to grade down here if you drove over them. So, but you know, make sure that we equitably distribute those funds, that we get our fair share on this end of the county.
All right, last question goes to Melvin. What do you think that the commissioner's pay should be, and justify your answer?
Well, thank you very much. I have hit on this many times. I personally am going to set mine at $50,000, and I'll tell you how I come about the $50,000. There is a study done, and if you look across the state of Texas, with the counties averaging around 100,000 population, like Angelina County has, in a unit road system, the average pay is $55,000. I came about $50,000 before we ever heard anything about this. I felt like it was a fair salary. If you base it on 2,080-hour work year, that comes up to over $24 an hour, and that's more than the bulk of the people down on this end makes. You know, and so I think that is a plenty fair salary. It is not going to be, there's going to be weeks it's going to be more than 40 hours. There's going to be weeks it's not more than 40 hours. But I feel like for the time that it is, if you go less than 50,000, I don't think you're going to get qualified business people that will do it. If you truly care about the county and you really want it to do better, go with that salary, help give some money back to the county, and show the people that you're serious about it. And that is how my take is on it.
Melvin has his take. I think we need to design a plan of what that job's gonna entail at this point. And before we do anything else, salary's a byproduct of what the job is, it's not the reason you take the job. And so we need to develop what the job's gonna be, we need to get past this, 4 months into it and see what's gonna entail. Again, I plan on being out there every day, working with some group, or a meeting or whatever, to try to bring new business in and expand Angelina County. The Bible says, you don't muzzle the ox that's trading out the corn, and a workman's worth his wages. So, if we're doing the job and putting in the hours, I believe we deserve the pay.
I think the question was, what the pay should be. There's no way I know, not having ever done that work. We've got commissioners in there now that are doing the job, and they will set the budget toward the end of this year. September 15th normally is when it's proposed and filed. So they're going to set our pay for the next year. And then once we're in office for 6 or 8 months, we'll be working on the next budget. At that point, we'll have a little better idea of what the job entails and what the pay should be. But to me, it's going to be a full-time job. I think the pay is going to take care of itself. I'm not worried about that. I'm in there to try to save the county money, and I'm going to be worth whatever I'm paid by saving the county money, going over the budget, making sure that things we buy, bid on, that we do get a good price on the items, and just try to save money everywhere I can.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. We've got a lot more to say on this, before you hang around.
See y'all. You're not buying my cake?